Hey guys, Bushcraft 412 here. Got a knife review. Today we got the Gerber Icon Tanto Edge folding knife. This is part of the Gerber Apocalypse line. I picked this one up for $29.99 and I've been hesitant to purchase this knife for a while because I've seen some bad reviews on it. I know Israel at We All Juggle Knives had an issue with the lock on his, and I've read some other complaints about the knife, so I kind of stayed clear of it. But, you know, I saw it for 30 bucks and I said, you know, I really liked the idea of, you know, a large folding Tanto knife for 30 bucks. So I went ahead and bought it anyway, and really kind of regret it, guys. This is not a good review on this knife. So let's talk about some stats on this knife. It's a 4 1/4 inch blade, and it uses the Gerber steel, which is the, I think it's like 4 CR17, whatever. It's basically a stainless steel. It's not the greatest, not the best. Kind of the middle of the line. Some people hate it. Some people find it acceptable. I find it acceptable for general use. It's nothing I would bring into combat or, you know, for hard use. But for normal daily EDC, it's an okay blade steel. It has a partially serrated blade. Ambidextrous thumb studs, which is a big deal for me being left-handed. We have some jimping on the back of the blade. We have aluminum handle scales, which are held together with torx bits. It's a complete see-through construction with the open pillars, and it's a liner lock with actually a pretty impressive liner to it. Very positive snap when you do it. So I was actually glad to see that wasn't an issue of mine, because it can be. It has a lanyard hole. Very good fit in the hand. As you can see, there's a little bit extra, so if you want to use it for striking, you can do that. But it's also got the ability to choke up on it real good for doing any delicate work. And this one, of course, is the partially serrated, if I didn't mention. Tanto edge. Pretty good thickness to the blade. Overall, I was really excited about this knife. But after messing around with this thing for a couple of days, it's not quite what I'm looking for in a knife. I originally wanted it for kind of a self-defense knife, a large folder, something I could put in my pocket when I'm not working, that would be a little more appropriate for self-defense than a lot of the knives I have. And you know, this knife just really hasn't fit the bill for that, and we're going to get into why in a second. So as a self-defense knife, this just isn't going to cut it because of the performance out of the mechanics of this knife. So with that said, I guess I'm going to be back in the market for another kind of large sized folding knife. Probably going to end up going with something by Cold Steel, but this is a nice little adventure. And you know, Gerber, I don't know if you watch these reviews on your products, but if you do, shame on you guys. You know, this is really unacceptable of your product line. Just unacceptable. So let's take a look at this and why I think this knife is unsafe. We're going to zoom out a little bit. And what we have, as you can see, is this little torx bit here. That's the pivot pin. You have them on both sides, and that helps for centering the blade as well as adjusting the tension on the blade. And when I got it, it was fairly loose. I was able to flick it open with just the thumb, you know, and it came flying open. You know, real good positive lock to it. But when I was carrying it around in my pocket, I noticed something. You can see the edge of this blade, when it's folded, is right there. I mean, it is right at the edge of the aluminum handles. And when you're wearing this in your pocket, and we'll come around the other side here to do this, you're wearing this in your pocket and say you're jostling around, that can happen. Right there. The retention on this blade is piss poor. That right there will catch you and cut you. It will, you know, as you can see, it's going to catch, you know. See, I left a scratch in my fingernail. It's definitely enough to give you a pretty serious scratch. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to need stitches, but that's enough. And so as you can see, we're going to see here, the blade retention, where retention starts, there's play in it when it's closed. And then once you hit this point, then there's tension on the blade, and it starts to become difficult to open. But from here to here, there's no tension for that. So it actually, as you sit it in your pocket and wiggle it around, that can actually pop up. Now this wouldn't be such a big deal, but what you have here is you have a tip-up carry. So as this is in your pocket, if you're running around, that can potentially come out, and as you reach in to grab the knife, cut your hand trying to grab the knife. So that's a really big safety issue. So I tightened up the blade to try and remedy the issue, and you know, you lose some of that ability to flick the knife open, of course, but it still doesn't fix the retention problem. It makes it a little bit better, because it doesn't take long, and this thing, just playing with it for a day or two, and I was able just to whip it open without even touching the thumb stud, because it actually got pretty loose. So these little torque screws here are not the greatest. They came loose within pretty much just a day of playing around with it. And not even like hard play. I'm talking just like sitting around watching TV, you know, opening it, closing it, putting it in pocket, out of the pocket, you know, cutting a few pieces of paper and cardboard. It came pretty loose, and it was actually so loose you could actually shake it wide open. And it would pop all the way open and just kind of no good. So it's a big, that's a big shame on you for Gerber, because that's a safety issue. You know, it's really unfortunate, because I really like the size and shape and feel of the knife. It's got good aluminum handles, great texturing in there. I like everything about this knife except the mechanics. You know, you have to keep this. I mean, you have to keep this thing pretty tight. Number one, just to keep it from flying open. But number two, you know, that amount of play there is unacceptable. It's just completely unacceptable. Especially for an EDC or a carry knife, because if you reach into your pocket and that blade is sticking up like that, you know, you're going to cut yourself as you grab that pocket clip and pull out quick, especially in a panic situation. So very unhappy with this, and of course, like I said, I had to tighten the blade up just to keep it from flopping open. So now the blade's really tight, and you can't open it quickly, you can't close it quickly. It takes actually quite a bit of effort just to get this thing open. So really unhappy with that. But you know, the big shame is I love the blade, I love the shape, I love the design, I love the handle. It's just pissy mechanics in there, man. It's just a bad job by Gerber, and you know, I really don't think it's a defect in this particular knife. I think it's just shitty materials. I think these are probably, the screws are too soft, and they're not holding it properly. You know, I don't see it as being a defect, and I don't think I'm going to return it to Gerber, because I don't want another one of these that's going to do the same exact thing. So this is probably going to become like a car knife or like a workbench knife for me, because there's no way I'll carry this in my pocket. It's just not safe like that. So this is getting allocated to the bench probably, or the car. Maybe put it in the trunk, but yeah, no way I'd ever carry this in my pocket. Just not safe. So that's my review. It's not a good one, and I was hoping it would be, because I really like the, you know, I really like the fit. I really like the size and thickness of the blade and all that. And it's actually fairly sharp out of the box. This is actually, when I got it, was hair shaving sharp. So really big disappointment. So sorry guys, Gerber Icon does not pass the test. But you know, like I said, if you're looking for a you know, kind of a big heavy Tanto in the $30 price range, go for it. But no, not for me, guys. And Gerber, shame on you. You know, if your production quality is getting that low, where a brand new knife is that kind of unsafe out of the box, you know, shame on you.